Hi friends, my name is Chaitanya Patke and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to analyze the 22nd game of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023, which took place at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And what a shocker the result of the game was. Afghanistan recorded their first win against Pakistan in the ODI format after 7 consecutive defeats, and what a stage to do it. Completely outclassed the Pakistani bowling, and the Afghan batsmen particularly deserve a lot of credit for this success. In the past, we have seen that Afghanistan bowlers are no doubt world class. They have world class spinners in Mujibur Rahman, Rashid Khan. Noor Ahmed also took 3 wickets, and they're just for some odd reason, I think their batting couldn't click. But this time, their batsmen didn't let their nation down. And one of the greatest upsets, I won't call it an upset because even though the ardent Pakistani fan will agree that the level of their team has gone down by several notches, but nonetheless, a historic victory for the Afghanistan. And my heartiest congratulations to all the Afghan brothers for this historic win. And may Afghanistan cricket continue to progress in the longer run, which I'm sure they'll do. The toss was won by Pakistan and they chose to bat first. Actually, it was not a bad decision, but the mentality and the mindset of the Pakistani batsman needs to be put into question. 280, 290 is not sufficient on that sort of a track. They had assumptions of this track on the basis of the Bangladesh versus New Zealand game. The team management as well as Captain Babar Azam completely failed to realize that this pitch is newly laid down, and there is a stark difference between the pitch that was used in the match versus Bangladesh and New Zealand. So Abdullah Shafiq scored 58, but he took 75 deliveries for it, 5 boundaries, 2 sixes, which is not good enough. I think if you are looking at 280, 290, then this innings can be classified into the category of good innings. But if you want to score 320, 330, then this innings comes under the average class. So I think he needs to up his tempo. He has the natural game to do it, but I don't know what is the mental block or barrier that is restricting his potential to hit the big shots. He was LBW to Noor Ahmed. Imam Ulak unfortunately pulled one straight from pulled a shorter delivery from Azmatullah Omarzai straight to short mid wicket to Naveen Ulak. So he will be disappointed with the nature of the dismissal. Captain Babar Azam scored 74 of 92 deliveries, which includes 4 boundaries and a 6. His running between the wicket was terrific. He converted ones into twos, and just the sort of innings that Pakistan needed. Unfortunately, he also got out to Noor Ahmed, who bowled a shorter delivery. Babar Azam tried to smack it through covers, but unfortunately, the ball was caught by Mohammad Nabi at covers. Rizwan had a rare failure in this game. 8 of 10 balls, he was caught by Mujibur Rahman of the bowling of Noor Ahmed, the 18-year-old playing his first World Cup games. As the Indian fans know that he has been a mainstay for Gujarat Titans, picking up 16 wickets in 13 games, and a very essential part of the team that reached the final, which lost to CSK. South Shakil also couldn't accelerate in the middle overs, 25 of 34 deliveries, a boundary and a 6. And yeah, he was undone by Mohammad Nabi. Shadab Khan scored 40 of 38 deliveries. His strike rate exceeded that of 100, but first of all, he took a lot of time to consume, and I failed to understand the logic to promote Shadab Khan ahead of Iftikhar Ahmed. As we know, that Iftikhar Ahmed is a proven hitter, and one clear distinction that the Pakistani team management needs to do is to clarify the role of the all-rounders. The Pakistan team management and Babar Azam, the skipper himself, thinks that Shadab Khan is a batting all-rounder. No, he is a bowling all-rounder with his bowling as a primary skill, and Iftikhar Ahmed is treated as a bowling all-rounder. No, they have got it wrong once again. Iftikhar Ahmed is a batting all-rounder with batting as his primary skills. As we know, the 100 that he scored up against Nepal, and before that as well, in Australia against Australia at the Chinnaswamy, also he hit a couple of lusty blows. So talent is there, but unfortunately the team management has not been able to grasp the role and tell the players with some clarity. So that has cost Pakistan dearly as well. Iftikhar Ahmed scored 40 of 27 deliveries, 4 youth sixes, once again all round the ground and 2 boundaries, with Naveen Ulhaq taking his wicket. Omar Zai a simple catch in the deep, but he did his job, and Shaheen Afridi was not out on 3 of 3 deliveries. Pakistan finished with a below par total. I think they could have easily scored 30 to 35 runs more, which was acknowledged later in the press conference by Babar Azam as well. 282 for 7 in their allotted 50 overs. Coming to the bowling of Afghanistan, Naveen Ulhaq in 7 overs gave away 52 runs and took 2 wickets. He was a bit expensive, but he will take that. Mujibur Rahman had a rare off day, 8 overs 55 runs. He was unable to pressurize both Imam Ulhaq and Shahid Shakil. That is where the frustration comes in as a Pakistani fans, or from the Pakistan team management, that even though that they made a good start, it could have been even better. Mohammad Nabi was very economical in 10 overs, 31 runs, 1 wicket. And one sort of problem I want to highlight of the Pakistani batting is that they play a lot of dot balls in the middle overs. As we know that Mohammad Nabi Premier League balls between over number 11 and over number 40, that is the second power play, and 10 overs 31 is not good enough, despite the fact that we know that Mohammad Nabi is a proven performer. I think that the Pakistani batsman gave him too much respect, which was also one of the reasons for the downfall. Rashid Khan didn't get a wicket in this game, but he was quite economical once again. 10 overs 41 runs. And Noor Ahmed, the star of the game, 10 overs 49 runs, 3 wickets. It is very difficult to make a presence for yourself because in the Afghanistan bowling lineup, and it becomes even more challenging because you are a spinner, because they already have 3 world class spinner playing in the playing 11, Mujibur Rahman, Mohammad Nabi and Rashid Khan. So to come in as a fourth guy, just 18 years old, and picking up 3 wickets, world class performer, and he has a great future ahead of him. Afghanistan were set a target of 283. Rahmanullah Gurbaz set the tone right from the get-go. He scored his runs at a strike rate of 122.64, 65 of 53 deliveries, 1 gigantic 6 and 9 boundaries. He was eventually undone by Shaheen Afridi, but until then most of the damage had been done. The Pakistani bowlers, especially Haris Rauf, who came in as first change, actually his first over went for 17 runs, and although he bowled his second over was a maiden, there was no looking back for the Afghan batsman, who just needed the spark. Shaheen Afridi also has not been able to get his in swingers very predominantly or very accurately, so that is also costing Pakistan dearly. They are not getting their length light because they are short of confidence, because they lost 2 back-to-back games against arch rivals India and Australia. So yes, news of disharmony in the dressing room as well, but I can't confirm it from credible sources. Ibrahim Zadran scored 87 of 113 deliveries, although his strike rate was just 76.99, but the way he anchored the innings, it was beyond his age. His maturity showed. He's just 21 years old. He was eventually undone by Hassan Ali, but what stood out, that after receiving the man of the match trophy, he dedicated this victory to the millions of Afghanistanis who are being deported from Pakistan. So he has taken a moral stand as well, which is very good. He is standing up for his countrymen, and a political statement. And guess who was conducting his interview? It was the former PCB chairman and turned commentator, now once again Ramiz Raja. So it must have felt like a second hand embarrassment to him. Rahmat Shah scored 77 of 81 deliveries. Once again the emphasis was on running between the wickets, and I'm once again highlighting the stark different approaches that were employed by the Pakistani batsmen in the middle overs as well as the Afghan batsmen in the middle overs. There was a period of time, I think between the 31st and the 35th over, that the ball was reversing a bit. In that case Babar Azam should have went for Haris Rauf and Shaheen Shah Afridi straight away, but for some reason there was a brain fade, and he gave the ball to Usama Mir and Shadab Khan, who as we know is in tremendous form these days, not even taking a single wicket. So what sort of little momentum that Pakistan had gathered due to the reverse swing of Shaheen Shah Afridi was completely undone by their captain himself. So he has himself to blame, nobody else. Such tactical decisions and tactical blunders are also one of the reason for Pakistan's downfall in this game. Um Shaheen Shah Afridi in 10 overs gave away 58 runs, took a solitary wicket, and the wicket for Hassan Ali. He actually bowled well. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 44 runs, 1 wicket. Haris Rauf, 8 overs, 53 runs, once again leaking runs at more than 6.5 per over. And Usama Mir, 8 overs, 55 runs. There was a lot of expectation from Usama Mir as well, but unfortunately he couldn't live up to that. And the biggest disappointment in this World Cup, I think, is Shadab Khan. As you know that the Pakistan team management has backed him despite the fact that he has not performed in even a single match since the start of the Asia Cup, or even prior 2 months to the Asia Cup. So I don't know what is wrong with him. He is the designated vice captain of the team, and he was dropped against Australia. So that says quite a bit about the current state of the Pakistani team. Mohammad Nawaz was injured in this game, so he was drafted back into the side, and he owed his side one brilliant performance, but he couldn't do that. And the commentators were also saying that till the very last over there was exemplary purchase and turn for the spinners on offer, but the Pakistani spinners are not in good form. That is completely in contrast to their Afghan counterparts, who bowled brilliantly when throughout the middle overs their mind wasn't cluttered and they had a clear plan, that we will go with 4 spinners and 1 fast bowler, and the 6th bowling option is going to be Omar Zai. So yeah, uh, it is a tale of two contrasting fortunes. Shadab Khan 8 overs 49 runs. The problem with Shadab Khan is that he bowls 4 good deliveries and 2 bad deliveries, so which releases all the pressure that he himself has built or the other bowlers has helped in building. And Iftikhar Ahmed went for 27 in 5 overs. The way that all the Afghan batsmen, including their skipper Hashmatullah Shahidi, who hit the historic winning runs, he also played brilliantly well actually. 48 of 45 deliveries, he scored 4 boundaries. Was that they converted their singles into twos, and despite the fact that there was some period, as I mentioned moment ago, that there were no boundaries, but they still kept the scoreboard ticking with their ones and twos. So the Pakistani bowlers didn't feel at any stage of the game that they were in control. The Afghan batsmen were helped by some assistance by the Pakistani fielder as well. It's a never ending love story, the Pakistani fielding and the Pakistan fielders. So yeah, all in all, a very dejected Babar Azam at the press conference, and some Pakistani media outlets have said that he even cried, and some of the team members couldn't even sleep, and they were awake till 7 a.m. the next day. So that is the nature of the defeat, and you know that the criticism it's 10 times harsh in Pakistan as compared to India or any other country in the world. So yeah, it is looking grim for Pakistan to qualify for the semis. Now they have to win all their 4 games, and they have to pray to God for the various permutations and combinations, which I think won't happen. They were in a similar sort of situation in last year's T20 World Cup, but yeah, I don't think that they will be able to replicate that form. So congratulations once again to Afghanistan. It is a victory of their grit, their grace, their determination. As we know that they don't have an established first class structure, but they keep fighting. Their players are also very grounded in their success, as we saw with Ibrahim Zadran. And they are politically very conscious, politically very aware, and most importantly that they love their countrymen. As we know that Mujibur Rahman dedicated his man of the match award against England to all the people who have been devastated by a huge earthquake in Herat, killing in excess of 2000 people. So may their soul rest in peace as well. But cricket has provided a lot of happiness to the misery of the Afghan people, as we know that they have been living miserable lives for the past 40 to 50 years. So cricket remains the only source of hope, only source of entertainment for them. And it's very nice to see actually the Afghan refugees or the Afghan expats filling in their grounds in Delhi as well as Chennai. So the cultural bond and cultural relations between India and Afghanistan go a long way, and I pray to God that long it may continue. So lots of things to ponder upon for Pakistan, and I hope that the Afghan players. They now have a genuine crack of going into the semis. I think it is going to be difficult, but one moment I also need to acknowledge the role played by Ajay Jadeja, the former Indian captain, which is currently their mentor. Now most of the new generation don't know who he was, but he was a swashbuckling middle order batsman. He was one of the best fielders in the world at that time, one of the greatest that India has ever produced, and he actually was a very potent lower order batsman, as Waqar Yunus will actually tell you. But anyways, so his contribution also needs to be appreciated, along with the contribution of head coach Jonathan Trott, who has worked wonders for this Afghan team. So how did you like my analysis of this game? Please tell me in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press the bell icon for further notifications. We'll meet in the next video. Till then everyone, bye, and I'm humbly requesting to you all once again, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.